Hey, I'm Sean in St. Louis, and this is the Marketing Gateway. We're out of the office for a couple of weeks, and so we'll close out 2025 with some short episodes about the lessons we learned from marketing this year and also the things we need to consider about 2026. So, we need to talk about search engines and specifically how 2025 has changed how people search for information on the internet. Over the last 20 years, it's been pretty common knowledge that Google is the front page for a lot of the internet. And even very popular sites like Facebook or Amazon tend to begin with a Google search because most people are lazy or don't know how to use bookmarks, I guess. For many years, the idea of being among the first page results for search has been the goal of many marketers because research in the past has shown that requiring people to go to that second page to find you tends to be accompanied by a steep reduction in traffic. But Google's been slowly working to change how people search by introducing informational cards that appear on the side of search results and also with more and more prominent ads that take up a lot of real estate on the main page. I know I've avoided Google and I've been using DuckDuckGo, which is basically just Google like it was about 10 years ago. But even DuckDuckGo has become infested with a feature that Google has been pushing like crazy this year: AI summaries of searches. And this has led to turning search from a top page experience into what's now being called a zero-click experience, where the search engine produces information without actually requiring anyone to go to a specific web page. In fact, according to a report from McKinsey and Company dated October 16th of this year, 50% of consumers are using AI-powered searches of some sort, and traditional search channels are seeing declines of anywhere from 20 to 50%. And this leads to another unfortunate statistic. Data from the research firm BrightEdge found that AI searches account for less than 1% of referrals and that Google refers 345 times more traffic than all dedicated AI platforms combined. And the search results that generate actual clicks to websites still tend to happen on the first page most of the time, particularly for mobile searches. But those clicks might also be meaningless because further research from the group Ahrefs, detailed in an article I've provided in the show notes from the growth engine software Passionfruit, suggests that AI search engine visitors generate 12.1% of signups despite accounting for a fraction of 1% of overall traffic. In other words, AI search has a huge impact on the purchase funnel because it means that content needs to be pivoted away from the general information AI-powered searches will provide to later stage decision-making targeted to more informed consumers. In fact, that research from McKinsey suggests that by the time consumers reach an actual search result, the AI tool they started with might have already helped them to make up their minds entirely. And herein lies the problem. AI tools are notoriously complex black boxes that aren't easily influenced by current data. Many of them are running on training data that represents years and years of information. And even when they search the internet, they don't always return valid results. So as I was writing this, I went to several AI platforms and asked who you could go to for research services in St. Louis, Missouri. Gemini had my firm, RPG, in the top results, along with several other current research agencies that have a presence in the area. And you know what? That makes sense. We've been in this business for 43 years, and many of them have been around for a while too. Claude also returned my firm in the results, along with a firm that closed down 4 years ago, and another one that doesn't even have any presence in St. Louis. Copilot mentioned my firm, which again is great, but they also listed several either that are closed or which have rebranded with different names. And ChatGPT returned a bunch of old firms that don't even exist anymore before I instructed it to search the internet, at which point it returned results that were more in line with the other survey platforms. So let's say I were searching for research services in St. Louis. The good news is I probably would find RPG. I'm happy about that. But I'd also find a lot of misinformation and unhelpful summaries of services that these firms don't provide. My decision-making process would be less about evaluating what these firms actually do and more about what the AI summary tells me these firms are capable of. So on a whim, I asked Copilot to give me a recommendation from its list on which firm to hire. It recommended one that's out of business and another that's operating under a totally different name right now. In fact, Out of the 5 firms it recommended, 3 aren't even viable anymore. I thought I would try something else. So I asked these AI tools and overviews to help me find a doctor. Here in St. Louis, you generally want to see a physician associated with a major healthcare system that accepts your insurance, like BJC Healthcare or SSM Health or Mercy or maybe even HSHS or St. Luke's or a few other providers. The AI summaries typically recommended physicians associated with urgent care or smaller practices and made up a comparative analysis of them based on very little factual information. I actually had to restructure my prompt to indicate my insurance and my specific needs before I could get anything useful. This worries me because it means that historical information about products, brands, and service providers are going to be contending with current information when it comes to AI-powered searches. And if zero-click searching really does become the more common approach to internet search, we're all going to have to rethink how we position ourselves online. So if there is a bright spot in this, it's that those of us that have been in business a while are more likely to benefit from zero-click searches than those who are just starting out. Having an established name and a history will help marketers who are hoping to hold on to market share, and it will even create barriers of entry to newcomers. On the other hand, I'm not sure how rebranding and mergers are going to fare in this new world, and given that current AI results and information cards aren't up to date or even accurate most of the time, that could all spell trouble. One of the things we'll talk about next week when we discuss 2026 is how to position your brand for the new, largely AI-generated world that we're about to step into. But that's enough for now. I'm Sean in St. Louis, and this has been the Marketing Gateway. See you next time.